Alright, YouTube. So, this is the after effects of putting a Chinese piston and rings into a near damn near new cylinder and swapping it into a 185. This one that I pulled out smokes like a fucking freight train at 135 psi compression. Just smoked, couldn't figure out why. This one here though is that Chinese 12-to-1 piston and cylinder that I showed you in the last video. Oh, sorry, kid's toy trapped underneath the wheel. So this engine was actually built on a shoestring budget. It was a $13 piston. It was domed. I gave all the measurements and everything in my last description. The bike is actually a 200M, but it has a 185S engine on it. The original engine blew up on this bike before I got it, so unfortunately I never actually had the original with all the electrical cert. I pretty much had to get an old 185S for the engine and wire harness, and now that's all wired in. The only things that are messed up is I got to wire in a LED pod for a headlight and a new rear tail light. Hunt for plastics. I do want the original 200M plastics and rear trunk. I got a rack for it over there on my storage pile there. That's just a fucking, if you went in my shed there's actually like 3 other goddamn trikes. Plus I got a little tiny 110 for my son. My son's 125. Those little parts bike that's past that. A mud mower there. My quad there. Pocket bike. Yeah, this is just a random pile of tools out of my tool bag just because of this. But I wanted to show everybody that this thing actually worked out fucking great. So much goddamn compression that when it hits the stroke, like, you can't fucking lift that thing. Like, it wants to bust that thing, so you gotta actually get a good motion to it. Turn the choke on. Doesn't fucking smoke. Starts up instantly, so hold up. Of course, I bet you it's because I got the choke on. Well, now it's making me look like a liar, eh? I had the idle set really low on it because it's still doing a break-in period. Oh, so hold on a second. Turn the idle up a bit. Yeah, it's a big old pile around a fucking shit. That's what happens when you're stuck working in the rain in your backyard and deal with piles and piles of crap. Well, we'll see if this big guy will fit it. Oh, there it is. Up. Good. Bike's been sitting for about an hour after it. Oh, so much compression that it just literally yanks me back. There we go. Turned up the idle and it's running good. Started without a choke. That could very well be why. No smoke coming out of that tailpipe. That's a cold start. Big old super trap exhaust. It's an actual exhaust made for this bike, so half the other pile of crap. This is for anybody that doubts those Chinese pistons work. Let me tell you, they do. They are not bike has so much compression, it'll break that pull rope. I'm gonna have to keep an extra one in the toolbox. But I don't want to give it full throttle yet, because as I said, I've only run the bike for about 20 minutes just idling it here. There you go. It's a used cylinder. I won't lie there. It is a used cylinder. It isn't brand new to me, but there was no wear lines in it, no taper. It had no rocking marks on it. It still had the factory marks on it, or factory hash marks on it. So I just threw in a ball hone and then quickly hit it afterwards with a quick 3-stone just to, make sure everything's smooth, and threw it all together and away we go. It's a little bit clicky from the top end because I kept the valves loose because it just got put together. I don't want anything tight in the top end. That's got to get cleaned up there. That will get sanded down. It's actually lead that's been painted over. I apologize for that. It's not normal. But other than that, the bike's actually in great shape other than the plastics on the rear end. I just wanted to show everybody though that those Chinese pistons, they do work great. When I pulled the rope on this, it actually had 215 psi compression. I don't know what that equates out to. I'm not some kind of a math genius. I just followed the basic math and it told me I had just shy of 11-to-1 compression. But based on that number, who knows? It could be about 12-to-1 actually compression piston based on what Honda, but the Chinese manufacturer says. I'm going to run this thing for about 10-15 hours is my goal before I post any kind of recommendation on it. I want to make sure that it's a good piston before you guys go and buy them up yourselves. So have a good day, everyone.